Hello and welcome. I am so excited to share this recipe with you today. These are, and I'm not exaggerating, my ultimate mini molten croissants. They're perfect for literally any occasion, a special breakfast, a little treat in a lunchbox, you name it. I've tweaked this recipe for ages, and I really think it's going to change how you feel about making pastries at home.
So today, I'm letting you in on the secret to getting the softest, most amazing pastries you've ever had. And the best part? We're going to fill them with either gooey molten chocolate or a delicious creamy cheese. So what do you say? Let's get started. Okay, so the absolute key to incredible croissants is the dough. It has to be perfect. And for this recipe, we're going to use a special Japanese technique that gives you this unbelievably soft, pillowy texture. Seriously, this is what takes these pastries from good to absolutely unforgettable. Now, this technique is called Tangzhong. It might sound a little intimidating, but I promise you it's not. All it is a simple paste made from cooking a little bit of our flour and liquid together first. What this does is it gelatinizes the starches, and that's the real magic here. It locks in moisture, making the dough incredibly soft, and, get this, it keeps the pastries fresh for days longer. It's a total game changer.
Making the Tangzhong is super easy. First, you'll whisk 4 tablespoons of flour with a half cup of water and a half cup of milk. Do this in a cold pan. That's the trick to making sure you don't get any lumps. Then pop it on some medium-low heat and just keep stirring. You'll see it start to thicken up into a nice smooth paste. As soon as that happens, take it off the heat, put it in a bowl, and just let it cool down completely. And just like that, step 1 is done.
All right, on to the main dough. First things first, activate your yeast in some more milk with a bit of sugar. Once it's all bubbly and happy, pour that into a big bowl with our cooled Tangzhong, an egg, and some baking powder. Now start adding your flour bit by bit until you get a shaggy dough. Next up is the soft butter. And listen, when you add the butter, the dough's gonna get super sticky. Don't panic. This is supposed to happen. Just trust the process. Keep kneading for about 10 minutes, and I promise it'll transform into this beautiful, smooth, elastic dough. Then, all you have to do is cover it up and let it rise.
Oh, and here's a little pro tip for you. If you can, try to use a high-protein flour, like a bread flour. Anything over about 11% protein is what you're looking for. It just gives the croissants a better structure and a really satisfying, chewy texture. Trust me, it really does make a huge difference in the final result. So while that beautiful dough is rising, let's talk about the fillings. This is the fun part, where you get to choose your own adventure. Today, I'm going to show you 2 of my absolute favorites, a decadent molten chocolate and a rich, savory cheese blend. For the chocolate, you can't go wrong with a good chocolate hazelnut spread. For the cheese, I love using a mix. Mozzarella gives you that amazing cheese pull, feta adds a salty kick, cream cheese makes it, well, creamy, and a little fresh parsley just brightens everything up. But hey, feel free to use whatever cheeses you love. Now, you want to know the real secret to that perfect liquid center chocolate filling? You've got to freeze it first. Just pipe little logs of your chocolate spread onto some parchment paper and stick them in the freezer until they're solid. This is so important because it stops the chocolate from burning or drying out in the oven. Instead, it just melts into this luscious molten core.
Okay, our dough has risen beautifully. It's time to shape our croissants. I'm going to show you a special folding technique that's going to create those gorgeous layers you see in a fancy bakery. And you know what? It's a lot easier than you think.
Let's break this down. You'll divide your dough into 20 little balls. Take one, flatten it out a bit, and fold the sides in towards the middle, kind of like you're folding a letter. Now, roll it up from the bottom, but only about halfway. Then, you flatten it again, stretching it out into a long triangle shape. All this folding and flattening is what builds those amazing layers inside. Finally, place your filling at the wide end, seal up the edges, and roll it up nice and tight towards the pointy tip.
Once all your little croissants are shaped, we need to let them rest one more time. This is called the second proof, and it's essential. Just place them on your tray, cover them up, and let them hang out for about 30 minutes. This last rest is what makes them puff up and get super light and airy when they bake, so whatever you do, don't skip this step.
By now, your kitchen should be smelling absolutely divine. The croissants are all puffed up from their final rest, and it is time for the best part, baking them until they're perfectly golden brown. This is it, the final countdown.
All right, you're going to want your oven preheated to 180 degrees Celsius, that's 350 Fahrenheit. Having the oven nice and hot from the get-go is really important for getting that initial puff or oven spring that gives these croissants their volume. And the good news is, these guys bake up pretty fast. It should only take about 20 minutes.
That's just the right amount of time for them to cook all the way through and for the outside to get beautifully golden.
Now for those little touches that give you that professional bakery window finish. Right before they go in the oven, brush them with a little egg wash. That's just egg yolk and milk for a beautiful shine. If you want them extra golden, you can pop them under the broiler for just 30 seconds at the very end. But here's the most important tip. The second they come out of the oven, brush them with melted butter. This gives them an incredible shine, and more importantly, it keeps them so soft.
And there you have it, the final result. Just take a second and appreciate what you've made. They're beautiful, right? That aroma alone is worth all the effort. What you have in front of you should be a tray of warm, almost cloud-like pastries with a gorgeous, glistening golden crust. They're incredibly soft, and when you pull one apart, you'll see that perfect molten center we were aiming for, whether it's that rich chocolate or that gooey, savory cheese.
I mean, just look at that texture. You can actually see the delicate layers and that unbelievably fluffy inside. The cheese is perfectly gooey and stretchy, and that chocolate, thanks to our freezing trick, has turned into a creamy, molten river. That, right there, is perfection.
So, I guess there's only one question left. Which one are you going to make first? The sweet chocolate or the savory cheese? Of course, you could always do what I do and just make a batch of both. I really hope you enjoy them.